It is time for Sports Business. Wherever you're catching up the show from, thank you very much for joining in. And welcome back from the entertainment business world from Andrew Barige. And for us, we are here to enable you as we drive your businesses continuously. And whenever someone says we are driving business, what a way to say we are driving it even in the sports world. And let's start from this local scene with the Silverbacks, the national basketball team for Uganda, as FUBA, the Federation of Uganda Basketball Association, finally secures funds for the Silverbacks. One day onto the event, the latest development from the local basketball governing body confirmed that the team finally secured the funds from the government, and the team traveled to take part in the World Cup qualifiers in Angola. The team needed over 380 million Ugandan shillings to take part in the first window alone, and that is why it was actually bowing out. There had been a dramatic turnout of events after the Silverbacks withdrew taking part in the Basketball World Cup qualifiers due to the financial constraints that they were actually facing. It was confirmed they are set that they traveled to Angola yesterday. Yesterday, the Federation of Uganda Basketball Association President Nasa Serunjoji said that there was that the money that they were looking for had been got, and it was approximately around 380 million. And as they reached out to the government of Uganda through the National Council of Sports, and before that, they had been told earlier that there was no money. Serunjoji said that after holding a meeting with the State Minister for Sports, Hamson Obua, they were promised funds to cater for help that they will definitely use during the period. This is not the first time the Silverbacks are crying out for the financial help. They faced a similar situation prior to the Afro Basketball Championship recently held in excuse me. Excuse me. And basketball championships held in Kigali, Rwanda, where they actually finished 6th of the tournament when they finished of the quarterfinals. And away from that, let's move on to the next story. And still with FUFA, the federation, this time around we head to football from the Federation of Uganda Football Association, as FUFA finally released a final 3 nominees in the female player of the year categories. Let's start from the female player of the year categories, as FUFA released the final part of it. Now, the list has 3 names, and of which the 3 names include Fauzia Najemba, Daisy Nakaziro, Fazila Ikwaput. This therefore means that Margaret Kunuhira and Joan Nagai of Kawempe Muslim Ladies FC and She Maroons FC respectively have not met the final nomination list. And the awards gala will take place on 4th December at Speak Resort Munyonyo. That is where they will actually be taking place. And if you look at the final list of the 3 nominees in the category of the Airtel FUFA Female Player of the Year 2021, Fauzia Najemba plays for Kampala. He's actually playing for the Kampala Queens. Scored 3 goals in as many games for Kampala Queens in the league. Named captain of the Uganda Under-20s women national team this year. As captain, Fauzia Najemba led the team victory over Kenya with a 10-3 aggregate score in the second round of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers. And also, she scored and assisted in an away game against Kenya that won 7-3. Scored a goal as Crested Cranes defeated Ethiopia 2-0 in the first leg of the second round of the African Women Cup of Nations qualifiers. Uganda went on to eliminate Ethiopia 2-1 on the penalties, with Najemba scoring one of the penalties. She scored and assisted in the away game against Kenya that won 7-3. And scored a goal as the Crested Cranes defeated Ethiopia 2-0 in the first leg of the second round, and also of the African Cup of Nations. Uganda went on to eliminate Ethiopia in that particular match. The other lady on the top 3 for the women championship is none other than Naziro. That is none other than let me see who's the other lady here. It is Daisy Nakaziro, yes, from the Lady Doves FC. Captained the Lady Doves to winning the FUFA Women's Super League, and she was named the best goalkeeper of the 2020-2021 season. captained the Lady Doves to third place at the inaugural Sekafa CAF Women's Champions League qualifiers. And also, she was named the best goalkeeper in the same tournament, Sekafa. And then the other lady on the list is Fazila Ikwaput to finalize the third three. We're actually here profiling these ones. She's actually also playing with the Lady Doves. She was the top scorer and the MVP, as Lady Doves won the FUFA Women's Super League. Came off the bench to score the winning goal in the final against UCU Lady Cardinals to help Lady Doves win their first league title. Let's move on to the side of the men. Also, the final three men that have actually been included on the FUFA list for the Men's Player of the Year. FUFA confirmed the final list of nominees in Male Player of the Year category. Surprisingly, Yunus Sentamu did not feature on this one here. Let's see the players here. Player number one is Abdul Aziz Kayondo. Aziz Kayondo made the list as well. And if you look at the situation, surprisingly, last season his top scorer Yunus Sentamu did miss out on the final, joining URA captain Shafiq Kuchi Kajimu, who was also part of the initial list of the five. If you look at this, Sentamu scored 16 goals to emerge as the top scorer last season. He also made history by scoring 4 goals in the Stanbic Uganda Cup final against Bull FC, so which shows that he had to make this list. Surprisingly, he didn't make. So out of the 3 players on the list, 2 of them are Vipers players. That is Aziz Kayondo. Then there is also, that is Abdul Aziz Kayondo. Then the other is Bobosi. Yes, that is Bobosi Biaruhanga. Then the other is Eric Kenzo Kabale of Express FC, who are making the final 3 list for the men to feature on the FUFA player. Kayondo, if you look at the situation, Aziz Kayondo was named in the best 11 of the tournament of the under-20 AFCON in Mauritania. He was promoted to the under-23 national team and played at the Sekafa under-23 Cup of Nations in Ethiopia. The left back also featured for Uganda at Chan in Cameroon. And this year, Kayondo made his debut for the senior team, Uganda Cranes, against Rwanda at the St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende, as well as Bobosi Biarhanga of Vipers Sports Club. So on the initial list of 5, Vipers had 3 players, and Yunus Sentamu couldn't make the final 3, and also Shafiq Kuchi Kajimu of URA, who did not make the final 3. So the ceremony will take place in December, but we shall wait and see who will win the Player of the Year, male and female as well. But just so you need to remember that the winner walks away with a car, but the voting does start for the winners. So anyone who wants to vote for their favorite player, voting already started on the FUFA website. Okay, let's check out the other situation, and this time around we turn our tables to Malawi, as Malawi asks former boxer Mike Tyson to become a cannabis ambassador. Malawi asked boxing star Mike Tyson to become the official ambassador for the country's cannabis crop, as Agriculture Minister Lobin Law sent a letter to Tyson inviting him to take up the role, and said that legalization in Malawi had created new opportunities. Tyson, a former world heavyweight champion, is an entrepreneur and is invested in the cannabis farm in the US. But the move has been criticized by some as the former boxer was imprisoned for sex offenses in the 1900s. Malawi legalized the growing and processing of cannabis for medicinal use last year, but stopped short of legalizing it for personal use. The Agriculture Ministry has encouraged farmers to grow cannabis for medicinal purposes as well as help for industrial use, as it is continuously ongoing. The government, however, hopes that Tyson's backing will rope in some investments and even potential buyers. That is according to the ministry spokesperson Gracian Lugu told the AFP news agency. A locally grown variety of cannabis, the Malawi Gold, is renowned by recreational users across the world, and you could definitely see why it is up there. The country's agriculture ministry has encouraged farmers to grow cannabis for medicinal purposes as well as hemp for industrial use. The government hopes Mr. Tyson's backing will rope in more of the investors as well. Tyson has said that the situation here, said smoking cannabis helped improve his mental health and turn his life around, situations of that sort. And if you look at that, some studies, however, have suggested smoking potent cannabis can increase your risk of serious mental illness. The Center for Public Accountability, a Malawian civil society group, criticized the latest development due to Tyson's previous crimes. The former boxer was jailed in 1992 after being convicted of rape in Indiana. He was released. He was actually released in 1995 after serving less than 3 years of his sentence. The CPA is failing to comprehend why Malawi would want to have a convicted rapist as brand ambassador of cannabis, more especially at this time when efforts to curb violence against women are part of the government agenda. The group's acting director, Godwin Monthali, said in a statement. So the situation here that we are engaging in is the fact that cannabis, the new German government wants to legalize cannabis. Malawi last year legalized cannabis to be used for medical purposes, not personal use. So it is supposed to be prescribed by the doctors. And surprisingly now Malawi, which has got the Malawi Gold, a special species of the cannabis also, being on high demand in the world, decided to bring Mike Tyson on board, a former boxing legend, on board to be the ambassador of cannabis. They have requested him to be. So we shall wait and see whether he will accept. Remember, he has a cannabis in the US. He has got himself a cannabis garden in the US. And previously, though, according to criticism coming on board, he has been engaging in various crimes, which others are also attached to rape crimes. That is why most people are against Malawi giving him the ambassadorial role. Away from that, let's move on to the Indian Premier League. The Indian Premier League broadcasting rights are a hot commodity now. When we are talking about the Indian Premier League, we are talking about cricket. Someone may think it is the Indian Premier Football League. No, this time around, their cricket league is called the Indian Premier League, it being the world's most profitable cricket league. We all know how Indians are very good at playing cricket, by the way. And if you look at even their rankings, they are ranked among the top 5 in the cricket league. The Indian Premier League is currently receiving more global attention than it has ever received. And with 2 new teams joining the league, TV rights will likely become a tug of war. Disney owned Star India's $2.6 billion 5-year deal for the Indian Premier League broadcasting rights, which expires next year. The same year, the league expands from 8 to 10 teams, and the cost is estimated to increase by at least 25%. The most recent price tag for Indian Premier League rights nearly quadrupled from what Sony paid to broadcast the first 10 years of the league in the most recent price tag for the Indian Premier League rights. And look at that, that was when Sony actually signed the deal in 2008, which ended in 2018. Sony may bid for the rights again this time around, alongside with Z Entertainment, in which Sony plans to purchase a 53% stake. And the league has been at the center of several major deals this year. CVC Capital Partners, which owns stakes in La Liga, paid around $736 million for the new Ahmed franchise. RPSG, a conglomerate owned by Sajiv Goenka, shelled out roughly $964 million for the new Lucknow team. In June, meanwhile, Redbird Capital acquired a 15% stake in the Indian Premier League's Rajasthan Royals for around $37.5 million, valuing the team at around $250 million. Last season, 31.57 million people watched the league's final, and in the past few seasons, Star India says that at least 400 million people have watched at least one match. The Indian Premier League was reportedly valued at $6.2 billion in 2020. So you can only imagine how much money these guys are definitely making from the situation there as well. Okay, as we are summing it up, let's look at the English Premier League in terms of the fixtures that are yet to prevail this very weekend. So let's look at match day 13 of 38 as we are away from that, and we are finalizing with the English Premier League. Let's look at the English Premier League, the matches that are scheduled for action this weekend. Match day 13 of 38. Starting it up, Arsenal and the early kickoff will be entertaining Newcastle at the Emirates. A match where Eddie Howe will be actually making a trip to the Gunners in making sure that he makes some transition as a new manager. It is his second game in charge of Newcastle. Will we be seeing Joe Willock play against his former employers at Arsenal? We'll definitely be waiting for that. And then the other match will be Norwich City will be taking on Wolves. Brighton and Leeds United. Man City will be entertaining West Ham. Burnley will be taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool will be taking on Southampton. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. Brentford will be taking on Everton. Leicester City will be taking on Watford. And then Chelsea will be taking on Manchester United. That will be Super Sunday football. And it will be the highlight of the weekend, if I am to put it right. And then during the midweek still, there are matches that will be taking on, whereby you could see, and during the week, midweek, we shall also expect some Premier League action. But still from that, the weekend will be looking at the Stamford Bridge. How will Chelsea and Manchester United fare in a match where Michael Carrick will be taking in charge of his first ever match as interim manager? And sources coming in is the fact that Manchester United is looking in for an interim manager. And if we are to look at the news sources that are out there, is that Ralph Rangnick is close to becoming Manchester United interim manager. Remember, there was a time when Manchester United guys were actually supporters were actually sharing details of Ralph Rangnick, saying that according to Wikipedia, he's being referred to as a Manchester United coach already, even before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had been fired. But as of now, all the sources were showing that Ernesto Valverde would have been a better candidate in terms of sources that actually had it. However, Man United turned their eyes onto Ralph Rangnick. And if you look at the situation of Ralph Rangnick, he may be taking over until the end of the season for Manchester United to see whether he will be the permanent coach. It will actually depend on how he will be faring, because Mauricio Pochettino came out and said that he will not say anything regarding the fact that he will be joining Manchester United, because his contract with PSG still runs till 2023. So he came out and said in the press that he is still a PSG manager, and as far as he's concerned, no team will actually go and get him as far as the standings are. Let's look at the standings of the English Premier League ahead of the action, match day 13. Chelsea are still on top of the league with 29 points rather. Man City second, 26. Liverpool are sitting in third place with 25 points. Sum up the top four with 23 points. Arsenal in the fifth place with 20 points. Wolves sum up the top six with 19 points. Tottenham and Man United finalizing 7 and 8 respectively, with Tottenham having 19 points and Manchester United having 17 points. And Manchester United will be on their way to Chelsea over the weekend. Now let's look at La Liga fixtures that are going to be taking place as well during the weekend. The La Liga fixtures will take a journey. La Liga is the major Premier League for Spain rather. Now if you look at the match day 15 of 38 in La Liga, Athletic Club will be taking on Granada, Valencia will be taking on Rayo Vallecano, Villarreal will be at home to FC Barcelona, Espanyol will be in Catalonia at home to Real Sociedad. The Real Madrid will be taking on Sevilla. That will be on Sunday. Alaves will be taking on Celta Vigo. Mallorca will be taking on Getafe. On Sunday still, Real Betis will be taking on Levante. Cadiz will be taking on Atletico de Madrid. And then on Monday Night Football, it will be Osasuna entertaining Elche. And on the standings of La Liga, Real Madrid are on top with 30 points. Real Sociedad in second place with 29 points. Let's look at Sevilla coming in in the third place with 28 points. Sevilla, Atletico Madrid sum it up on the top four with 26 points. One who will be asking, where is FC Barcelona? Barcelona is seated in the 7th place with 20 points at the table. Okay, and as well now let's also take a look at some of the other fixtures. And this time around we're looking at French Ligue A. The French Ligue A football, and that is a French League table. But let's look at the French League table first. According to the French league table, PSG is on top with 37 points. Nice second with 26 points. Look at Rennes with 25 points in third place. Lens is actually in fourth place with 24. That is tapping up the top four. Olympique de Marseille is in fifth place with 23 points. So PSG is 11 points clear ahead of Nice. So let's look at the fixtures. Meanwhile, Friday night football will start with Lens taking on Angers. Nice will take on Metz Saturday. Lille will take on Nantes on Saturday still. Saint-Etienne will be at home to Paris Saint-Germain on Sunday. Paris Saint-Germain lost to Manchester City during the midweek football, the UEFA Champions League. Lorient will be at home to Rennes, that is Sunday. Bordeaux at home to Brest on Sunday. Montpellier will be at home on Sunday versus Lyon. Reims will be at home versus Clermont Foot. Monaco will be at home to Strasbourg. And Marseille will be at home to Troyes, that is on Sunday as well. Now, as we are summing it up with sports business, let's also take a look at, I guess, the German Bundesliga. So let's look at the German Bundesliga as we're summing it up, the fixtures as well as the standings. VfB Stuttgart will be at home to Mainz today. It is Friday night football. And then look at Saturday fixtures. Hertha Berlin will be at home to Augsburg in Berlin, as VfL Bochum will be at home to SC Freiburg. Cologne will be at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach, as Fürth will be at home to Hoffenheim. Wolfsburg will be at home to Borussia Dortmund, who are eliminated in the group stages of the UEFA Champions League, so they have a point to prove ahead of their action this weekend. Bayern Munich will be at home to Arminia at the Allianz Arena. Let's look at Eintracht Frankfurt will be at home to Union Berlin on Sunday, and then Sunday we'll sum it up with RB Leipzig at home to Bayer Leverkusen. Let's look at the table. Bayern Munich are on top with 28 points, 1 point above Borussia Dortmund, who have 27 points after 12 matches played in the German Bundesliga. CS Freiburg is in third place with 22 points. Bayer Leverkusen is in fourth place with 21 points. Union Berlin is in fifth place with 20 points at the table. So clearly, that's the time of the top leagues. We've looked at La Liga, we've looked at the English Premier League, we've looked at the German Bundesliga, and also the French Ligue A. So those are some of the matches that you really need to look out for ahead of the weekend. It's going to be a steady weekend. At the end of it also, you need to actually get to maybe if at all you're interested into the betting, those are some of the matches. But let's also take a look at the Uganda Premier League. Let's return home as we are summing it up. And if you're to look at match day 7 of 15, UPDF will be taking on Jinja SS, as Arua Hill FC will be taking on Kampala City Council Authority in Arua. Bright Stars will be taking on Sowana. Police FC will be taking on Barara City FC. Let's look at Express FC will be at home to Wakiso Giants. Sports Club Villa will be at home to Ondu Paraka. Then Saturday football, Vipers will be at home to URA. Super Saturday in the Uganda Premier League. What a game to watch. Uganda Revenue Authority will be traveling to the Vipers. That is an interesting matchup. Whenever these two teams meet, it is just like KCCA meeting up with Vipers. It is a goals gallery, trust me. And then on Sunday, Bull FC will end up the weekend of action in the Uganda Premier League with Gaddafi at home. Bull FC will be at home against Gaddafi. Now let's look at the standings of the Uganda Premier League after 6 matches played, with most of the teams playing only 5. But after 6 matches played for Kampala City Council Authority, they are on top with 16 points. Meanwhile, Vipers have so far played 5 matches and they are 13 points, seated in second place. Bull FC seated in third place, have 13 points, and Wakiso Giants sum up the top 4 with 12 points after 6 matches played. So Vipers has an advantage. If they win tomorrow against URA, they will go straight on 16 points with a game in hand meanwhile. And the URA that they're going to verse is seated in 9th place with 7 points after 4 matches. So even URA has an advantage of 2 games in hand. So if at all they win against Vipers, they go 10 points clear and 2 games at hand that they have to play. Let's look at the last 3 teams on the table of the league of 16 teams. Sowana FC is in 4th place with 14th place with 4 points. Bright Stars in 15th place with 2 points, and lastly Police FC is in the last point, is in the last part with no point at all, summing up what it actually means on the relegation battle as well. So among the news that are summing up with the Uganda Premier League, Stephen Bengo left his role as Toro United assistant manager so that is one of the bigger headlines you could actually expect from the side of sport. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. That is all from the sports business. When I do return, we head to the news hour. Stick around.